Coach, how you doing? Can you hear
Where
me?
at? Orlando area?
No, I'm in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, man. Way to go. Hasn't been tapped. Let's go to work, man. That is absolutely, you picked a great place. I'll tell you, you picked a great place. So let's go. Now you got Tim Tebow working up, playing with those guys. So you know that's going to be another Tampa up there. So way to go, man. Proud of you, man. Awesome job. Well, hey, listen, I know Juan is about ready to get on, Juan and Myrna. And let me tell you about these guys, man. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. We're just so blessed to have them. We met them years ago, and it was just touch and go. We were both building our business and so forth. And these guys, man, we can relate, you know. And ever since then, here they're part of a Neil and Victoria Gerfine organization, okay, but they're building a huge organization in Arizona. Neil and they're up in California. These guys are building it in Arizona. Over 800,000 in income, guys. A big deal. That's a huge deal. Their son, they got son Juan and Maria, over 300,000 in income. And then they have their daughter, which is Sarah, and her husband Lanai. Bellamy, they're over 150,000. This is a solid organization. This is an organization that Primerica pays these folks over $1.3 million a year to that family, okay, to the three of them. So it's a huge deal, guys. That's what Primerica is all about. And if you guys can see this thing, I'm telling you, just don't look at it for right now. You got to look at the future of this thing. You got to look at it from the point of view that you're saying, man, I got a business that provides a continuous, a passive, recurring, massive income. And it gets to the point where you're like, even if you don't work it, it continues to pay. It continues to pay for your family. And that's what you're looking for. That's called total financial freedom. Total financial independence, okay? And that's our goal. Our goal here in Primerica is to produce the most financially independent families within our community, within our city, within our state, within our country, okay? That's what Primerica is all about. So take advantage of it. You got to see it. You got to be able to see this thing. And if you see it, you can seize it. You can take it. You can use it. You can make Primerica work for you, man, because that's what Primerica is all about. This ain't about you working for Primerica. This is about you learning how to put Primerica to work for you, okay? So that's what it's all about, all right? And this couple right here, I'm telling you, I'm so pumped up by them. I mean, they're running a phenomenal business. And I just reached out and say, hey, listen, just share your story and just let it rip. Man, just tell us what's going on, how you're doing it, everything. We're here to receive, man. We're here to receive. And I sincerely appreciate that. So I don't know if is Juan on? Is he on the line?
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
All right. So listen, without any further ado, here is the great Juan and Myrna Guerrero. So Juan, you got it, brother. You got it. Hey, thank you so much for being part of it.
Welcome.
Hey, Myrna, how are you, man?
Let's go, guys.
You guys are superstars, man. I'm so proud of you guys. Let it rip, man. Let's go to work, man.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for that introduction, Ed. I mean, we see you guys also like just an amazing example, just growing up in the business, seeing you and Yvonne go up on stage and just lighting it up and pretty much setting up the pavers, for the Guerrero family to also, grow up, in business together. We didn't have the vision of having a family business. Like Ed said, we grew up, out in California, just, having that dream of making an extra $500, just to get by. I mean, pretty much a lot of us were in that situation, and when we got in, we just, we had blinders in our face. We got trained by Mario Munoz and Viviana Munoz. And we just saw the bigness, when we got into business, Neil and Vicky, they ran like a $30,000 base shop, and they would say, we're the number one, team in California. and we were so new that we're like, all right, we're number one, and I think a lot of us, come in maybe with our guard up, and it's good to have our guard up, but not too much, because prior I was a warehouse worker, my wife was an accountant, and we were broke. We needed something different. We needed to make a move, back then, and everybody comes in a different way, different direction, and I was in a softball league, just like all of us, right? We're all broke, but we still want to play all the sports, right? Because we're so competitive, right? And one of my buddies, he kind of came up to me after the game, and he said, "Hey, can you help me out with a training appointment?" And I was like, I had no clue what he was talking about. We wanted to drink some beers right after the game, right? And I'm like, sure. He gave me the date, and I forgot, and back then we were living with my in-laws, because again, we were broke, right? And Mario shows up with a trainee, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot. And my wife was having coffee with my mother-in-law, and they're two A-type personalities, right? And I go over there, and I'm like, hey, honey, can you please, come to the table? They're going to, present some stuff. He's my buddy, right? And she's like, no, you never told me that they were going to come, right? So I was like, please come and sit down. Don't embarrass me, right? But it was the best decision that we made, to sit down and just pretty much hear them out. I know my wife is going in and out on the background, but she's right next to me, right? She's not a ghost, right? But and not knowing, right? We had just like some of us that come in, right? We had Hartford Insurance, and one of my wife's cousin, the husband, was an agent. He was a cash value agent, and we had no clue what that meant, right? And he sold us a policy, drew blood on us, and we find out, that I wasn't even insured in the policy. So that was where the crusade started for us, that God forbid I would have passed away. You can imagine the devastation that most families go through financially, right? Where that, you don't have the money for the funeral expenses, and us Latinos, right? We want music. We want the live band when you're dead. I don't know why, right? But if you want to spend $20,000 just on music, and people are celebrating, right? But that's where our journey started, and I think the best thing that I could give you, and then I want to introduce our kids, and then my wife's gonna come up and just light it up. But I think it's our personal story, and man, do we change in this business, in a good way. Because when I got in, we weren't polished. We were coming in pretty much like backwards, and I'm gonna share my PowerPoint really quick. Can you guys see that? So
yes, sir.
I mean, obviously this is us right now, but this was us back then, right? I'm from Mexico, and I'm proud of it, because my mom made the decision to bring her 10 kids to the United States pretty much by herself, because my dad was in California working, and my mom got tired of it, because my dad would go back and forth, right, working, and every time he would go back, he would have another child with my mom, and he had the right mentality of getting wide, right, like Primerica, right, getting deep and wide, right. But this is my beautiful wife, right. This is actually a party that my wife threw for me when we were dating. My thinking back then was my two women, my mom and my future wife, right, and my beer in my hand, right. That's a broke thinking that we all have, right. And this was back then, like in 95, 96 in Whittier, California. And then, we decided to get married. Fast forward, right, it went like super quick, but we look happy, but we were having a lot of issues back then. I had a lot of issues in the sense of becoming a man, right, in the sense of growing up, because we used to go to a lot of rodeos. You see the horses there, and we, being from Zacatecas, Mexico, there's the community there, we have a lot of like rodeos. We're into horses and cleaning a lot of poop, right? And this was our wedding that we were able to come out of the church, and there was 2 horses. But my wife and I, sometimes we look at these pictures and we're like, oh my God, right? We got married, but we were about to get a divorce almost the same day, right? Just like a lot of us, right? We were not self-improving. We didn't have, mentorship. We didn't have nothing. And these are 2 of our kids are in the business. Juan Jr., he's all, cowboy. Also, he was, I think, like 2 years old there. And then our daughter, beautiful daughter, Sarita, right? She was like 1 year old there, and our business, or actually our life was going like this, right? In the wrong direction. This was, a picture of me almost in the last couple of years of me working at a warehouse. And we could all relate to each other on how we felt, where we were working, and how, we were living, because, we tend to get, sold on the American dream, but it was more like the American nightmare for us, because this company, Cargill Oilseeds, was a good company, but I was never going to become the owner of the company.
Right.
I was going to drive a forklift for the next 30 to maybe even 40 years. And it was so sad that one of the reasons that, I was looking for something different was when 2 of my buddies, they were like kind of like mentors and at this job here, they retired, and we're happy for them. They're in their 60 plus, years, the normal years that people retire. And one of them passed away right away. The other one passed away in a couple of years. And I took a gut check and I said, wow, like, is that going to be my life? Am I going to, work, for the next 30, 40 years? And all I'm going to get is a ticket to heaven or to wherever I was going to go right away. I was going to pass away. And it was a great company. We had benefits. We had the weekends off, 3-week vacation. It was a juice job that people fight for, right? But those are the people that want to just work a job. My wife and I, when we got married, right, I was really content. But marrying an A-type personality, I don't know if there's any A-type personality women in the house, right? I'm pretty sure you're doing Primerica, right? And you guys are the key. You guys are the reason why guys like us that are really, balanced out, you make us want more instead of just being content. So we got to a point where, there was a lot of stuff happening. My wife's sister passed away. She had an accidental dismemberment policy, and, the clauses there, right? If you don't die in the scene, you don't get paid. So she died in General Hospital in LA, Los Angeles. And that was the first, kind of slap in our face that we needed, to do this. We needed to educate families. We needed to have this awesome crusade that, our awesome company provides, right? The buy term and invest the difference, right? There's nothing better than that. And, we took a, gut check. And we said, you know what? We're gonna join this business. We're gonna try it out. Like we all say, we're gonna try this out, not knowing that this company was gonna give us everything we've ever wished for. It's given us options. It's given us, that family business that you're gonna hear from, a little bit later on. But this was a picture kind of before we made the big move to Arizona. We started in California, and we told Neil, what, we want to move to Arizona. He says, look, that's great, but why don't you build your business here? Learn the concept, learn, get licensed, do everything you have to do here, learn it, and then, move to Arizona if you think it's the timing. So it did come really quick, right? 5 years in California. We were part of Neil and Vicky's $100,000 base shop for like 5 years, and we were, blessed to be coached by our coaches, Neil and Victoria, even now, right? I mean, you guys know Ed, right? Neil, man. Neil does not sleep, man. I don't know how he does it, right? I need my sleep, right? But Neil is just a coach of coaches that you could call at 3, 4 in the morning, and he'll answer your call. That's how amazing, our coaches are, right? So a mentor is someone that allows you to see the hope inside of yourself, right? And again, right, this is, Neil and Vicky, when they come out to our office, we try to put them around, our winners, our RVPs, because I think as a coach or as a leader, we have to understand that we don't know everything. That, like the Ortizes, right? If you have a brand new person, you put them in front of, Ed and Yvonne Ortiz, right? Because they know more. They're like pretty much the pioneers of a family business in Primerica, and like I said, they have been, just great, examples to my wife and I, because when we got in, we saw them, we're like, wow, family business, that sold us the dream. And also to be part of, the dream team hierarchy, Mario Munoz is the one on the right that trained us. Then you got Eric and Amber Davis, $1 million earners, Tanya Poe, coach of coaches, Glenn Williams, right? And then you got our coaches that we were in that cocoon for many years, and now, with the blessing of exploding the hierarchy, everybody's pretty much, running their own meetings, and yes, we still plug into our coaches because, we can never, think that we arrive, right? So you need to surround yourself with people who fit your future, not your history. Okay. You have to make sure you fit your future with and not with people with your history, right? And this is, the lifestyle that, Neil and Vicky have gave us, right? That we're on a super Monday, right? Ed, right? And it was Neil's birthday, and man, to have the choices that we have, right? And the options that same day, because it was Neil's, birthday, we just scheduled, to go to Vegas with them. And they always, put us in the best places. They had a 2-story, penthouse, in Vegas, right? And we had amazing, a dinner with them, and to be able to spend quality time with our coaches is everything to us. We fight to be around them. And then, just, to have, Hector Lamarck, and him being Latino, that just sells us even more the long-term vision of how awesome it could be, and his 7, fundamentals that my wife and I just keep trying to master every single day, every single meeting, just the prospecting, the mastering, the setting up appointments, the presentation, overcoming objections, the products, knowledge, the recruiting across the kitchen table, and getting people to a fast start. It was one of our successes in our business, right? And our team, together everybody achieves more. This is the way we started when we had, ownership, and you need to have a team, right? You see the team that we have when we hit 300,000, but then, we started, getting more committed. We started working a little bit more. We hit 400,000. Then we said, you know what? We need a bigger office. So we got an 8,000 square foot office with 14 executive offices, a training facility that holds close to 200 people. We have a PFSU that holds over 60 people. And then boom, our income jumped to 500 and then 600, and it comes down to, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Nothing's going to be given to us. When we moved out to Arizona, we knew that we had to work. We knew that we had to get recommitted on our goals and dreams. And I think that a lot of us kind of have forgotten about our goals and dreams. That's why, you see the effect on your numbers and your attitude. If you're walking into the office, if you're turning on your Zoom, you have to make sure you work on being excited, being pumped up, being ready for the meeting, right? And then from there, we hit 700 in November of last year. And then last year too, we hit, 800,000 in March. And, right now we're just focused on that $1 million run. We're just, so blessed that we have this opportunity in our hands, and having, amazing friends like the Ortizes, that we could call and, ask them questions, on how do they do it, and kind of just open up the doors and say, look, this is where you guys got to get better. This is where, this is what we're doing as a family, right? And what I'm going to do right now, man, is I'm going to introduce, our awesome kids. Again, we're so pumped up for them. We didn't know that, our kids were going to do the business. We never forced them to do the business. It just kind of happened because when the convention was coming, right, my wife said, hey, Junior, right, we're gonna invest into you, right? We're gonna send you to the convention with us, right? Just to see what would happen. Not knowing that he was gonna lose his mind, right? He saw Mario Arizon speak on stage and just let him know that if he could do it, he could also do it too, right? But I wanna introduce, first of all, I wanna introduce Lanai and Sarah. She's our beautiful daughter. They're future $200,000 earners. Man, we're what could I say, man? She's so talented, when it comes to social media, just the art that comes out of her. Lanai Bellamy has just this big heart also, that when you see them, it's just like a breath of fresh air, and I want to give it up to the amazing Sarah and Lanai Bellamy.
Let's go, second gens. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Great morning, everyone. Dad, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Man, you got me all emotional over here. It is so exciting to get to speak to the amazing hierarchy of the Ortiz family. Yes, second generation, hopefully third generation with our babies. I want to start off by giving Bryn and Eric a shout out. Mamas, I am so excited that you are going to be a mother of two. I saw your post on Instagram and I'm like, babe, look, I'm so emotional watching this. It's so beautiful. It really is. So I'm going to jump right in. So who are we? What is it that got us started in Primerica? And why is it that we are still here? So I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about who am I and who was I when I first got started with Primerica and prior to that. So I've always been motivated by just never settling. My parents gave us what we needed, but they never gave us more. And what I mean by that is if I wanted something, they'd say, yeah, you can get something if you need it, but do you need it? I'm like, well, no, but I want it, right? So that's when I decided that I had to go get a job. And Jack in the Box was my very first job. And let me tell you guys, the reason I chose Jack in the Box was because of their food. I like their chicken tenders. I like their curly fries. But guess what, guys? I didn't even get free food there. I had to pay for my own uniform. The most I made in 1 month, in 1 month was $700. And I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I'm working on holidays. The people that have been here the longest are trying to get me to do their job when they're supposed to be cleaning the bathroom. Like, no, this isn't for me. I am not meant to be an employee. So then after that, we get introduced to Primerica. So Lanai and I, we started dating when we were in high school. And then outside of high school, we went to college together. And when we went to college together, it was in August of 2016 that we got licensed. And let me tell you, my parents said, okay, well, you're going to go to college. We're going to pay for your college and your dorming, but that's about it. And I thought everything was free on campus. So I went through my food card within the first week of being an ASU student. So I was like, what the heck? Like, these chips aren't free. When I slide my card, it's taking money out and now it's empty. Like, what's going on here? So very quickly, we were like, okay, we got to do something else, whether it's finding a job or why not, find out what this Primerica thing is that my parents talk about and that my brother and my sister-in-law are in. So Long story short, we were broke, busted, and disgusted. Yes, we were so busted. You know, we needed new shoes, and it's like, okay, well, we got to make money to get new shoes. We were disgusted by the situation that we were in because we couldn't get the things that we wanted. So in reality, we had absolutely nothing to lose when we got started, but everything to gain. And as soon as we got introduced to the company, we started going on multiple company trips. So when we got in, we went a trip in 2 months, and it was so exciting getting recognized in front of the company. Entrepreneurship became a way of life. But let me tell you, we did have a lot of doubters. We did have a lot of haters. And in the end, we just used it as motivation. From the very, very beginning, I was in love with the idea of recruiting. So we wanted to be in a fraternity and a sorority. We're like, oh, we're going to be that cute couple, you know, that's in a fraternity and in a sorority. And that got shut down really quickly by my amazing upline, Mrs. Myrna Guerrero. Also my mom, she said, how do you want to win in business and also be in a sorority? I was like, shoot, okay. And then our coach Juan Guerrero said, hey, you do realize you could have a sorority within your business. You get to decide how you want to run your business. Right. And that was so attractive to me. The fact that I can go out and meet people, create this bond with them, and, you know, have this forever relationship with them, and, you know, eventually go RVP. So in July 6th of 2020, this is the day that we actually signed our RVP contract. We were so excited. Mind you, we got into business in 2016, so we went RVP 4 years later. And that 4 years, we learned so much. When we first got started, we had 0 people skills. You know, we would sit down and talk to our coaches like, hey, so when we sit with a couple and they're married and they have kids, like, do we say their kids are cute? Like, how do we talk to them? How do we relate to them? So those were the conversations that Sarah and Lanai were having with Juan and Myrna, their NSDs. So, you know, if you're young and you're on this call, hey, you can totally make it. We got started at 18. Now I'm 23 now. My husband is 22. And like I said, this is all we know. And we absolutely love the opportunity. So today, this is actually us today. You know, we're business owners today. We have freedom. We have 2 babies. Yes, 23 years old and have 2 babies already, and another one on the way, which will be here next month. So we're going on 3 babies. We love our circle. You know, we get to influence others to be great, because out there in corporate America, let me tell you, people are getting beat up. Right. And we decided when people are coming to the office, when we're getting in front of people, we're going to influence them to be great. We help our agents. We're in the process of helping them build their business, wanting to promote our other RVPs. We have an amazing spiritual life. We have the ability to give back. You know, guys, we just have options, and that's what it's about. People say, oh, money's not everything, but it sure does give you options. Right. That is 100% true. And for me personally, I'm just living a dream life. This is all I could have ever wanted, and it is just the beginning. So I'm going to share with you guys, when we first got licensed, it was in August of 2016. And what we made that month as students of college dorming on campus was $2,200. And I believe we helped out about maybe 6 or 7 families that month. And we were just so mind blown, like, what? We helped out 6 or 7 families and made $2,200 in 1 month. That's incredible. Imagine what we could do with this opportunity. So fast forward, like I said, we went RVP. Our RVP contract actually hit in August of 2020. So 4 years later, we became RVPs. And I want you guys to take a look at this. So we were paid, I believe it said 6 times or 7 times, August of 2016. Fast forward, August of 2020, 4 years later, we were paid 21 times and made over $22,000. That is the opportunity that you guys have in your hands right now, where there could be 2 young kids that come in, you know, and with work ethic, with a big heart to help people, with coachability to, you know, whatever our uplines told us to do, as long as it was legal, ethical, and moral, we would absolutely do it, because we knew it was going to get us closer to our goals and dreams. now we're regional vice presidents with the company, and it is an amazing, amazing opportunity that you guys have. And just the journey that we've been on, the experience that we've had with just learning business, with learning business ownership, has been completely amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to give it up to my amazing spouse, Mr. Lanai Bellamy, because let me tell you guys, he is definitely a dreamer. He's the one that was like, babe, we got to do this. And I was like, oh man, okay, I guess, because I never wanted to be an anchor in his boat. So I supported him 100% from the very beginning. And now today, I truly believe that the reason that we are here is because of this amazing man that is sitting right next to me. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Lanai Bellamy.
Awesome. Thank you, babe, for that amazing introduction. Guys, people ask me all the time, how do I have so much energy? Well, I'm married to this woman. Like, how can you not have energy with all the passion she has? I mean, babe, you're the greatest thing that God put in my life. I love you so much. So I want to share with you guys before Primerica, right? So growing up, my parents owned a business. Life was awesome. We were financially stable. We would travel every weekend. We'd be shopping. Like, it was awesome, right? And then on our way to Rocky Point one weekend, my parents actually got in a car accident, rollover accident. Thank God they were okay, living wise. However, my dad had actually crushed his wrist. Now that was an issue because my dad owned a landscaping business, right? So all this income he was making before in his landscaping business went down the drain because he was no longer able to work anymore. He literally couldn't even pick up a piece of paper with his hand, let alone work a lawnmower or anything like that. So we lost everything from the house I grew up in, from furniture, from cars. Like, it was at a point so bad where we would get home from school and there'd be like an errands van. I don't know if you guys know what errands is. It's like the people that you could like buy furniture off of. They have an errands van sitting down the street from our house. And we would literally couldn't go inside until the van left because they're trying to get the furniture out of our house. Wow. And my parents, right, they'd come knocking on the door. Hey, we know you're in there. We need our stuff. And my parents, as a kid, would tell us, don't answer the door, don't do it. And it was crazy. Like, that was our life. You know, my 4 years in high school, we moved over 15 times. There was multiple times that we were actually homeless, where we were staying in hotels and motels. And I just remember asking God this question, why me? Like, that was my biggest question. Like, why me? Like, I'm not asking to be like super crazy rich, like, but can we just be financially stable? Like, can I get a new pair of shoes when I go back to school? Like, can I not have to get my brother's hand-me-downs? Like, why me? Right? But what I didn't know, that God had bigger plans for me, right? And his vision is bigger than all of our vision, okay? So what this did for me though, growing up, experiencing that, what it did for me is it put me at a crossroad. I had two choices. I had to make a decision. I was going to live the exact same life my parents were living, or I needed to go a separate direction. And that's what I decided to do. I decided, how can I get rich, right? Because I never wanted my kids to experience what I experienced. And I never wanted my spouse to have to experience that as well. So I asked the question, how can I get rich? And my parents' answer was, go to school, get a good job, right? And you can make a lot of money. So I said, okay, well, what pays the most, right? Doctors, lawyers, engineers. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got to do whatever it takes to be one of those professions because I need to make a lot of money so I don't struggle financially. So I was get involved in all the clubs at school, do sports, do everything. It's going to look great, you know, when you're applying to colleges, because that's what this whole thing was about. My parents told me on college. So I was in HOSA. I was our student body president. I had a 4.0 GPA, National Honor Society, all with the vision that I couldn't continue that way of life anymore. I even played sports, right? My senior year, we won state right here. So like I said, I was involved in everything. But let me tell you something, right? Football was everything to me, right? I remember, like, it was yesterday, we won state, and like a couple months later, actually our coach called us in like, hey, we're going to get these state rings. Just so you guys know, I thought they were going to be paid for. I'm all excited, like, hey, I'm about to get the state ring. I'm all jacked up. Come to find out, it's $350 to get the ring. And knowing my family situation, I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess I'm not getting a ring. I could say I won state, but I guess I'm not getting a ring. And it was like a month or two went by, and my dad told me, hey, here's $50. You know, if you can maybe put it towards your ring and let them know if we could set up payments. So I remember going to the bookstore one day, and the lady at the bookstore, as I go to give her the $50, she goes, wait, your ring's actually already paid for. What? Like, I thought maybe it was my coach or something like that, because he knew obviously what we were going through financially. And let me tell you guys something. I'm going to go off story right here. 4 years later, right? This was last year. I actually found out from Sarah. We were dating at the time, maybe a month, if that. And I actually found out that her mom went into the bookstore and paid my ring for me. Anonymous, didn't want any credit, no nothing like that, right? And I get emotional, right? Because that just made me want to do that for other people. Just the impact that this couple had in my life. Not knowing, like, I'm just like, I think about it. If some dude was dating my daughter, I'd be like, dude, screw you, bro. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to stick around, but just the heart that they had. And that was one thing that I fell in love with when it came to Primerica, that they genuinely care about you here, right? So this, like I said, we won state going through all of this and everything. And that was one lesson I learned, that you have to be able to work through adversity. I learned that going through high school. So when I got introduced to Primerica, it wasn't difficult for me because I had already done it for 4 years straight, right? So why couldn't I do that in my own business? So we got started in Primerica. We were full-time in college, like Sarah mentioned. I was an introvert at heart, no work experience. I was like, it's not for me, but I'll support Sarah. And at the end of the day, I promised the only reason I did my IBA is because I wanted to impress my in-laws. Like, I thought if I said no, they're gonna be like, dude, you ain't marrying my daughter. So you got to go somewhere, right? But I'm so glad that that positive pressure was there. And what Primerica did was challenge my beliefs. I was taught my whole life, go to school, get a good job. But why is it that my brother just got his master's degree, graduated $90,000 of debt, and has been looking for a job for a year and a half? And I think, imagine if I wasn't introduced to Primerica when I was, where would I be at right now, right? I was super skeptical, but I listened because I was broke. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times, right, we want to be skeptical, oh, like we know everything, but you're broke, right? That was me. So I understood that I needed to listen. And one thing that Primerica helped me discover was who was behind all of my problems. I grew up blaming everybody. My parents blamed everybody. They had that victim mentality. So who was behind all my problems? I found out, damn, it was me. But check this out, guys. You can't prevent problems from happening, but you do control whether they stay around. And Primerica got me so fired up that I can control my situation. Now we made some big decisions. We dropped out of college, right? We sold out to Primerica. We went full time and we stepped away from tradition. The years and years and all the family members telling me what I should do, I stepped away. But look at the power of stepping away. This is what I did for my kids, for my grandkids, because I made that decision and all of their lives are now saved,
for your family,
right? And for my family at the end of the day. So this is before Primerica, right? This is a 2-bedroom apartment we were staying in. This is a minivan that my grandma gifted me. And this was the little 5-gallon jug that I had to fill up the radiator with because the van broke down all the time. It was crazy.
About 3 times a day.
Like 3 times a day, yeah. Right? But this is what Primerica has been able to do for us, right? I went from homeless to homeowner because of Primerica, right? I went from driving that minivan, which I was grateful for, to being able to purchase a 7 Series BMW, right? To be able to purchase my wife a X5 as a push present, right? That's Primerica. It gives you options like this. Your life can change if you guys make the decision. Thank you all so much. I want to pass it back to our amazing coaches, Juan and Myrna Guerrero. I want to thank the Ortiz family for having us on today. Man, you guys inspire us. What a great family business. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, wow. That was awesome.
That's awesome. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Pumped up. So with that, man, I want to also introduce, our son and our daughter-in-law, Maria. She's also like our daughter, right? And going back to the story, when he went to the convention, the first time he lost his mind, came back, and Maria's brothers, well, they'll share the story, but I'll share it a little bit too, right? They said he's going to come back brainwashed, right? He's going to come back all pumped up and excited. And that's how he came back, right? But they'll share their story, right? So please help me welcome the amazing Juan and Myrna Guerrero.
Let's go, Juan. Let's go, Juan.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Vamos.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. I love the little vamos,
energy.
vamos. Oh, that's great.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for having us. And, I just want to say thank you to my in-laws that moved up to Arizona so I can meet my soulmate, right? And so we can be together and more than anything for raising such a hardworking, responsible man, right? But so we're Juan and Maria, right? And a lot of times people confuse us thinking that we're Juan and Myrna too, because our names are so similar. But this is Juan Jr. and Maria, right? So guys, I just want to share a little bit about us. And, you know, I got started, Juan and I have been together since I was 14 and he was 15. So we were in high school, right? We were babies. I'm like, oh my gosh, do not tell my kids that we started dating so young. Right? And, you know, we started dating. We really, obviously, like, we really loved each other, but we didn't know that here we are building a business, right? And 2 babies later, 9 years later, right? And it's just so emotional because, as you can see, we've gone through so many things together. We've literally grown up, not only like in life, but in business, right? And Juan started the business as soon as he was like 18, I believe. I was still in high school because he's a year older than me. So I was still currently in high school. I was 17 and a half. So I was attending the meetings. But like my father-in-law said, absolutely. My brother goes, oh my gosh, watch when Juan comes back, he's going to be like, I'm going to be a millionaire, like making fun of him, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Like, I was like, okay. And then Juan calls me the night after. He like hears Mario, Arizona. He's like, babe, our life is going to change forever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my brother was so right. What the heck? Right. And it was just so crazy. I'm like, dude, I'm in high school. Like, what are you talking about becoming millionaires? And like, what? I was like, you're crazy, right? So we've definitely, you know, had our growing pains, right? And I have 5 older brothers, and, you know, growing up, I was very just like, you know, so I have 5 brothers and then it's me. So I was used to kind of like getting everything my way, right? Like nobody ever fought me for anything. Like it was like, Maria wants it this way and okay, that's how it's gonna be, right? Like I was kind of like the little boss in the family. And, you know, so my parents are from Mexico, and I used to think, right, like I believe in 2008, I'm sorry, when the market kind of crashed, my parents had 2 homes and they lost both of them. So we had to move in with one of my brothers, and it was like 12 of us living in a 3-bedroom house. And it's so crazy because I remember thinking, like, my parents came from Mexico, right? They struggled to get here, right? There was a price to be paid. They sacrificed a lot of uncomfortableness. They had their own home in Mexico, right? To come here, live in an apartment and say, we're going to figure it out with, you know, 4 or 5 other boys, my brothers at the time, and say, we're going to make it happen. And so when I remember thinking like, dude, I never want to struggle like this when I'm older. I never want to, you know, not be able to provide for my kids, or to have to tell my kids, no, I'm sorry, I'm short on money. Like, I just can't even imagine the feeling of having to tell my kids that, right? So in high school, even through high school, the struggles kept going, right? And I remember, so Juan and Myrna, they were already obviously in the business. And I remember she would sell me the dream even from high school, right? Because Sarah and I, we were in the same grade. And I remember Sarah coming to school with new Uggs and, you know, like all these pairs of jeans. And I'm like, oh my gosh, one day I'm going to be able to have as many Uggs as I want and as many Toms, because those were the thing back then, as I want. And I'm going to go shopping all the time, right? And I remember saying, as soon as I'm 16, I'm going to get a job because I need to help my parents. If I don't give them money for the bills, at least I can say that they don't have to worry about my things anymore. They don't have to worry about providing, you know, clothes and things that I need for school. So in that process, as soon as I graduated, right, my mom was going through a lot of, you know, hardship through like surgeries and just her health. And I said, you know what, my mom is my motivation, because whenever she had even a little bit of money, like I was like her little financial advisor. Like I could check her account and be like, okay, she has money. Let me ask her if she can go buy me clothes, right? She became my motivation because she never said no to me, even though she didn't have money, even though they were struggling, right? And I said, you know what? I am so afraid. I'm so afraid to talk to people. I was the shyest person you could ever meet. I didn't even like saying hi to like family or, you know, like close friends, because I was so shy and such an introvert. And when I got my mom, you have to know your why in this business, right? And I used my mom as my motivation. And I said, I'm gonna run with it. Like, I'm doing this for my mom so that one day she never has to worry about going back to work. She never has to worry about, oh my gosh, I can't afford this bill or I can't afford that bill, right? And I said, that is more important than my fears. I will not let my fears win and take over. Right. And this is me. I don't know if in the East Coast you guys have an In-N-Out or have heard of In-N-Out, but that's where I used to work at. Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny when you get hit.
On the right, we have right where Juan's wearing a purple shirt. That was our first trip we had when I had just turned 18, and it was to the Bahamas, right? And in the top picture, that's my mom and my sister, where we took her, and she lost her mind. She's like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing, right? Because she wanted me to go to school and I didn't, like, to college, right? So this was Juan, actually, when we got promoted to division, and Maria, right? And, like I said, I became unstoppable because, I got over my fears. I said, I'm not going to let it take over. I will not, be a victim of my own mentality, right? And I continued. And this is my mom. I was actually Juan and I, we were able to buy her a brand new minivan, right? She was like, I love those, right? But apart from that, she used to have like a 2005 Honda Accord, like the AC. If you guys have ever been to Arizona, it is very hot in the summer, very, very hot. And my mom's AC wouldn't really work, and she would still go pick up my other nephew. So she would fit like 7 kids in a 5-seater, right? And I'm like, okay, this is not safe anymore. So I had to get her something that was comfortable. She is so happy, and in that moment, it was such a rewarding feeling, of why we went out there, why we got over our fears, why we got over, what held us back. Because she turns to Juan and she goes, Juanito, because she calls him Juanito. She goes, in my 56 years of life, this is the first car, that brand new car that I've ever gotten, and that someone's buying for me, right? So she was just so excited and so grateful. And, and that's why we do it, to be able to help our loved ones, right? To be the go-to person. So with that, guys, I want to leave you with Juan so he can share the rest of the time.
Woo! Awesome, guys. I got like 20 seconds left, so I'll be quick. Just kidding, man. Maria, you did amazing. I am just so blessed to call you my wife, my high school sweetheart. And as Mexicans, we have a tradition. Our women, right? My mother-in-law is very traditional, right? She will feed like the men first. That's just the way they work. So it's usually husband, like oldest son, and then it kind of just trickles down, right? So because of the stuff we've been able to do for her, the impact we've been able to make in her life, she now skips her husband and skips her oldest son and feeds my plate first, and everybody hates it. And I just love it, because I'm that special someone in her eyes. So when I started, guys, I was 18 years old. I was fresh out of high school. Maria was actually 17 and really didn't know what she wanted to do in her life. I was a full-time student at Grand Canyon. So I actually got my degree in 3.5 years. I promised my grandfather I was going to be the first in his bloodline to get his degree, and I did it. Maria worked at Church's Chicken, then moved over to In-N-Out, and I was working at In-N-Out. I had millions of distractions. I was a sports head, right? So I played sports. Everything I can do about sports, I wanted to be a part of. No real life experience except for what my amazing parents have taught me. And I've always knew I've wanted to be my own boss. So what changed for me, guys, is my parents invested in me to go to the convention in 2015. If you remember, and you're around that time, you'll remember that was the moment that Mario Arizon was recognized, and his wife, right, as the youngest $1 million earners in Primerica history. And he was talking about his story that he started at 19. I was 18, right? Sitting in that chair, just to give you an idea. And that 10 years later, he was able to accomplish what he accomplished. So for me, being this competitive kid, these just competitive, emotions just started building up inside of me. And I said, dude, if I just do what he did, by 28, if it takes me the same 10 years, I can be the youngest $1 million earner, right? And then Glenn Williams called the play and said, I want you to write down your unreasonable goal. And that was my goal, to be the youngest $1 million earner. And I freaking committed to it. I don't know if everybody else in that room committed to it, but I did. I didn't care who else that message was being told to. I felt like that message was just for me. And my life changed, guys. Just like Maria said, I got back to the hotel room. I started calling her up, telling her we're going to have a changed life, right? I got home, man. I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. I'd go to sleep, like with a big smile, just because I knew my life was changed forever. So this is what I did to change, guys. I got back and I went to work on me. I became a self-improvement junkie. I knew that I was going to be bad before I can be good. That's just the reality. And I wasn't afraid of hard work. I turned my car into a classroom. I stopped listening to music. Till this day, guys, I'd rather listen to something that's going to help me grow than music. I don't like watching TV, right? I'd rather watch something that's going to help me, grow in a specific area. I mastered my skills, right? Mastered them. I listened to Tom Hopkins for 4 years straight, Hector Lamarck for 4 years straight, right? I listened to every audio tape, Bill Whittle, 90-Day Madman Cycle, Art Williams, right? All the greats on how to get my skills to where they needed to be successful in Primerica and collapse timeframes, right? My sales skills, people skills, leadership skills through reading books and listening to audio tapes. And I won contests and never missed a meeting. I just don't understand it, man. How you can say you want to win, but you're not the first one on a meeting. I don't understand how you say you want to win, but you only show up when it's convenient. For me, I didn't understand that, right? My parents, since the beginning, my great coaches, my uplines, Neil and Victoria Gerfine, my amazing coaches, Juan and Myrna Guerrero, right? Everything for me, they just taught me how to be great in business. And what I figured out is if you want it bad enough, you'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Plan A should be the only option. So formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune, right? There's a saying that says, if you work hard at your job, you'll make a living, but if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune, right? And it's the reality. Guys, I would never be able to make what I make now working at In-N-Out. As a matter of fact, they only sell within the family, right? So even if I wanted to be an owner of an In-N-Out, it wouldn't be possible, And let me just tell you guys the difference between Primerica and a job, okay? So at a job, your check is limited, right? You don't get to control your schedule. You got a boss that's above you telling you when you can take a break. Right? There's so many different factors about a job that separate you from having a business. In Primerica, we pay you what you're worth, not what the position's worth, right? We're going to pay you what you bring to the table. You can be your own boss, control your own schedule. You can decide when you want to take vacations, and you have options. I'm 24 years old, ladies and gentlemen, and just the other day, a few months ago, I had a chance to purchase this car right off the floor room, right? And it's just a great feeling, man, to be able to do that stuff. It's crazy that working at In-N-Out, I would have never been able to dream as big as I do here in Primerica. So the reality is that lions, a tiger, doesn't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep, right? Getting involved in this opportunity, there was a lot of people who would give me their opinions, their 2 cents on whether or not they felt this business would work on that or not. If I would have decided to listen to them at those very moments, I would not be here. As a matter of fact, my manager was negative about the opportunity. He told me that I'd be back, right? And man, I mean, he was so right. I go back, but now in my Mercedes to pick up food, right? And he's still flipping burgers, right? Which it's no disrespect. If anybody works at In-N-Out, it's a great job. But hey, I wanted something better in my life, right? I wanted to do something bigger. And the most I ever made at a job was $800. The most I ever made in Primerica was $38,000 in 1 month. So, man, let's get after it. With closing, I just want to say this is my amazing family here, my 2 kids, JC3, my daughter Zoe, and we also have a little baby boy on the way. And I'm just so grateful for what my parents have been able to do for me. You know, just all the things they've taught me growing up, the leadership, the work ethic. I always used to say this as a district leader. I got my mom's competitiveness with my dad's calmness, right? And I just got this great mixture of you know, an awesome son, and in my opinion, you know, and I just want to make them proud. Part of my motivation is obviously helping my parents get to $1 million in income. And we know that's going to be possible with our amazing team. So with that being said, thank you for your time, and please give it up for Myrna Guerrero.
Let's go, Myrna. Way to go. Let's go.
Thank you so much, everyone. I get so emotional, you know, just watching my children speak and just the opportunity for them to be able to share their story, and to know that as a mom, because a lot of times as moms, we feel like, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I working? Are my kids ever going to throw that in my face? Am I being a good mom? And what I realize in this business, when I see our kids doing the things they're doing and just doing such amazing things in the business, I realize that everything we did was worth it. All the hard work, the times we were away from them, it was worth it. Juan and I, when we started the business, we made a decision to work the business together 100% each. I trained, I was out on the field. I tell him all the time, I did more because I worked on pending. I made sure we had good quality business. And I also, when we didn't have a nanny, I still took care of our children. You know, so those are things that I made a decision to do because I understood that the only thing that was going to get us out of the situation that we were in would be Primerica. And that's why we worked so hard. And I promise you guys, it's worth it. And I'm going to share why Primerica, right? Why is it that Primerica, why is it the vehicle that can lead you to greatness? 1, because it gives you freedom. 2, it gives you the opportunity to help others. It has given us the opportunity to build a family business and to have unlimited income. And, you know, the reality is why wouldn't we want that? You know, I look at the businesses of the Ochoa family and I'm like, man, that was the business that we used to look at and say, that's what we want. I'm sorry, the Ortizes. And I'm like, that's the family we want to be a part of. We want to be, we want people to look at us and say, look, the Guerrero and the Ortizes, those are family business couples that are working together, that are doing whatever it takes to win. And Primerica gives you the freedom to give back. For me, this is huge for me. When I first started the business, I started because I wanted to make my parents proud. I got pregnant and my dad always said, you're the one, Myrna, you're the one that's going to do something great. You're the one. And, you know, when I got pregnant, I felt like, man, it wasn't me. I wasn't the one. And when I saw Primerica and our struggles were real, right? And Juan and I said, man, if we don't freaking make an extra $500 to $1,000, our marriage is going to the crap. We're going to go bankrupt. We got to find something. And Primerica showed up at the perfect time. I had lost my sister in a car accident. She had insurance through work. It didn't pay. So we understood that there was a crusade and educating people what they have and what they're entitled to have. And it gave me the opportunity also to show my parents that I could be somebody and that I could do something. And I've been able to do a lot for them. You know, I help them all the time. Whenever they need it, I help them. I have a sister who's in a wheelchair. She's with me this week. And I'm able to help, you know, take care of her when my mom is out on vacation with her sisters. And it has given me that freedom of time to be able to do that. I bought her a minivan that has a lift so she gets to get into her van and just really make it simpler for my parents. And right now, my parents are 76 and 81, and they're remodeling their kitchen on Myrna's dime and Juan's dime, right? But we can do that. So it's awesome to be able to do that for our family. And I love giving back to our charities. I enjoy it. I love giving back to our Christian K-Love Station, to St. Jude's, to Angels Wings. It's for women, sheltered women, just a lot of stuff that I'm able to do. And I love to do that for our church. And more importantly, I'm able, this got all messed up. We're able to help out our RVPs. I'm looking at the slides and it all moved over, right? But obviously my son, $300,000 earners. Juan and I are at $800,000. Sarah and Lanai at $100,000. George and Avelia at almost $200,000. Lewis and Allison almost are at $150,000. And then we've got Anna Duran and Miguel Duran. All the names got all messed up. They're at $150,000 or $100,000. And then Marco and Gladys moved out to Oregon a little bit over a year ago, and they're at about $89,000 in income. But imagine being able to build a business, again, because they saw us build a business by ourselves out in Arizona, just starting all over again with obviously the coaching of our uplines, me and Victoria Gerfine. But it's amazing to be able to do that. And this is our family business, right? We've got Maria and Juan with their awesome kids, and then Sarah and Lanai with their kids, and then my daughter Andrea. Her husband David's not on there, but we have another baby, Benji, right? David Benjamin, that's my youngest grandbaby. And then we've got 2 more grandbabies on the way. And then obviously Neo and Victoria Gerfine, $2 million earners now. And then these are my women RVPs. So they're the RVP partners, and one RVP that's a woman other than myself. But it's amazing to be able to be in business with strong women that can handle men like our men, right? And Juan can handle me, which is amazing. But that's the opportunity, because you have the freedom to build your business however you want. And that's what's exciting. And now look, I get to have amazing grandbabies. I started the business wanting to do it for my parents, just to make them proud. And then as soon as our grandbabies were born, Juan Carlos III, which is the oldest one, right? He changed our lives. And all I wanted to do was to win, to be able to have freedom and spend time with them. And all I wanted was one at first. I'm like, I just want one grandbaby. And then my kids decided to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 2 more, so it'll be 7. And just like that, I have all my grandkids are under 2 right now. So I have 5 grandkids under 2 and 2 more on the way, 1 next month and then another one in October. But you know what? It's such an honor and such a privilege to be able to build a business, to have freedom to have with my grandkids. And to be a young grandma to me is everything, because I bike ride, I do everything with them. I play around at home. I go to the park at 110-degree temperature with baby James the redhead and the other little boy, the 2 oldest ones. They say, Mommy, parque. And Mommy goes to the parque, right? So anything they want is grandma does it, and they know it. They know that if they say, Mom, come, Mom comes, right? And Zoe, my little curly hair gal with pink cheeks all the time, just like her mom. She's just an amazing little girl, has her own personality, and I'm able to just do whatever they want. And it's awesome. And that's why I worked hard. I didn't understand why. I knew why I wanted to in the beginning. And as I started to grow and make more money, a lot of times you get comfortable. But once my grandson was born and the rest started to be born, I realized that there was way more. There was a legacy to be built. We needed to leave a legend for our family. And that's exactly what we're doing and our kids are doing. And it's amazing because making the money we make and having the ability to still inspire others, inspire our team, because you build a family in your team as well. All our team, I love, and I just want to be an inspiration and I want to be an example to them, just like the Ortizes are to you guys. And it's amazing to be able to do that. And it's exciting to see the growth and us just building and going and moving forward. And that's basically what it is that we wanted to do, and the freedom. Because if you look at this is a pay that I think this was when we made $100,000. Yes, this was in March of 2021. Juan and I made over $100,000 in 1 month. And in like a couple months, we went from 700,000 to 800,000 during the pandemic. And I'm telling you guys that and sharing this with you guys because this can be you guys. You guys all have the opportunity to make $100,000 in a month. We all have the opportunity to change our lives. We can do great in this business, but what you have to have is you do have to have a crusade. You have to have your crusade, the crusade of changing your life, the crusade of the opportunity that Primerica offers, and the crusade to leave a legacy for your family. I am telling you, it is worth it. It's amazing. And I'm just so proud to be in business with such phenomenal business partners like our children and my husband, but everybody else in Primerica. The Ortizes, the way you guys have been able to really inspire us from afar. I remember you guys speaking for Neo and Victoria and us being like in awe, like, oh my gosh, they're so awesome. Their personal story, the military family that wanted something different in their lives and just had a heart of gold and was willing to go after it. And that's what inspired us. So we're just so blessed and excited. I know our time is up, but we're excited, guys, excited to be able to do something great in our lives, be able to inspire others, because it's not, Primerica's simple. It's our brain who works extra hard to make it difficult. That's the reality, because we hate rejection. We hate so many things that we have to go through in this business. But I promise you, if you just work hard, you pour the belief in the people that you have in them, just like we were poured belief in us. And if you still don't believe right now and feel like, man, I don't know if I can do it, I'm telling you, you can. I'm telling you, believe in your uplines when they tell you that you have what it takes. Because Primerica's phenomenal. Primerica's a life-changing business, and you can change your life. You just have to make a decision that you can do it, because you can. Juan and I are not the best. I get emotional. I cry. I'm like the biggest crybaby. But you know what? I also have a heart of a champion. And one thing that I learned very young in life was work ethic. And if you have work ethic and your parents have instilled that if you work hard, you can achieve greatness, you can do it. Go after it. And if you were not instilled that hard work, well, get it from the people that are teaching you now. Because you know what? The great thing is, if you don't have the perfect family, you can choose your family now. You can choose the people you want to get mentored by. You can choose the people that you want to be inspired by. So pick the right people. And if you do, you're going to have success. So with that, thank you so much. We appreciate your guys' time. I know time is precious, and I know it's later where you guys are at. So thank you. We appreciate you guys. We give it up to all of you, and just, go after it. For all you that are not RVP, go RVP. For all of you that are RVP and are not where you want to be, go get it. We are fighting for the $1 million, just like your guys' uplines. We got to fight so hard to make sure that we get that $1 million ring for all of us, because we all deserve it. Just like, Yvonne does, and you guys deserve it too. So let's go after it. Let's make it happen. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And I'll bring Juan up, and then we are done. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Myrna!
Thank you.
Vamos!
Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Let's get the
All right. One, man, let me tell you guys, Myrna, Dios mío, you guys are my favorite family, and I'm gonna claim it. I am saying, this is what I'm saying to the Guerrero family and the Bellamy family, man. You guys are going to be the next family showcased at the next convention. I'm telling you, what we heard here was absolutely unreal. This is what Primerica is all about, man. And man, you just touched our hearts, and we look at this and we're like, oh my God, this is us. I mean, I'm texting with my kids and all that. I'm like, this is us, man. This is, we're on the same boat, man. And let me tell you, Myrna, God bless you, man. God bless you. By the way, you did absolutely phenomenal on that daily boost this past week. I am so impressed with you. You guys tore it up. And man, you got, as a family, you were phenomenal. And let me tell you this. For those of you who don't, this is how I judge. You show me great kids, and I'll show you a great man leading a great family. And that's what we have with the Guerrero family. I mean, Sarah and Lanai, you guys killed it, man. You guys killed it. You're the future of this business. Juan and Maria, you're the future of this business, okay? Just like my kids, this is Primerica. I look at this and I say, man, Primerica's in great hands. Primerica's in great hands because we got some great family out there. I mean, you touched our hearts, man, and I cannot tell you how proud I am to be in business with you guys, man. So absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you so much for sharing what you just done, because I'm telling you, you brought so much hope, and that means so much. And I know Yvonne is gonna love you, Myrna. Yvonne is just like you. Yvonne is I look at you and I look at Yvonne, it's the same thing. Yvonne right now, she is not here because her commitment on Saturday is to take care of the grandbabies so that Jason and Jackie and Eric and Bryn can do these trainings together and so forth. So we take it upon ourselves to take care of the grandkids. But I am telling you, I look at your family and I'm so blessed. God is blessing you tremendously, and just keep it up, guys. Keep it up, man. So beautiful just to see that, okay? I mean, I get emotional on that thing. But guys, let's go to work. Hey, listen, for everyone, I'm telling you, close of business is midnight on Monday. Let's go out. Minimum, I tell you guys, hey, listen, from here to Monday, there's over 100 people on this call. Give it everything you got. At least go one by one. And if we go one by one, we got an extra 100,000 in premium. We got that extra 100,000 in income, and that'll take us right over to that $1 billion. We could do that little by little bit. How you eat up, and now one bite at a time, guys. One bite at a time. One bite at a time is from here to Monday. Hey, one by one. Everyone go after one by one. If we do that, we're gonna hit our goals, man. We're gonna hit what we intend to do. Okay, so let's go make it happen. Man, love you guys. Thank you so much, all of you, for being on this call, man. The Guerreros brought it, man. They gave it to us, man, and we just got to take this thing and run. So God bless you all, man. Let's go to work, and man, let's take this thing to the next level, because you guys know who we are. Who are we, guys? Come on, talk to me.
Aviators.
Talk to me.